There's one player that's not there, and I mean, I think you guys can probably guess who that is.
The greatest player in history of WNBA.
Grace Berger has been waived, fam. Oh my goodness.
The Indiana Fever not being the greatest situation.
The Indiana Fever just made a move that's turning heads. They released Grace Berger,
My whole thing was that I thought stylistically she's the perfect bench backup for Caitlin.
a guard who perfectly complemented Caitlin Clark's style. And now fans are left asking, what is this team doing?
Like Grace Berger, as much as I joke, as much as it's a running gag that Grace Berger is the GOAT.
Berger wasn't just another player. She was someone who helped steady the floor and kept Caitlin in rhythm.
They let her go, right? They let her go, and they picked up Jaylen Brown, man.
Instead, the Fever brought in Jaylen Brown, a scorer. But is she really the fit Clark needs? If you stand with Caitlin Clark 100%, drop a comment below, because this decision might say more about the front office than the players.
Grace Berger has been waived, fam. Oh my goodness.
The news came fast and felt like a gut punch. Grace Berger has been waived by the Indiana Fever. For casual fans, it might sound like a routine roster move, but for those paying attention, it's a serious misstep.
My whole thing was that I thought stylistically she's the perfect bench backup for Caitlin, because what we need from a backup for Caitlin is the ability to play the 2 when Caitlin's off the floor, the ability to play the 1.
Grace wasn't just another bench player. She was one of the few who truly understood how to play alongside Caitlin Clark.
The ability to act as a primary ball handler and get the ball back to Caitlin. Like, that's the 3 things they need to do.
Her playing style was built for it. Unselfish, smooth, and smart. She didn't need the spotlight. She knew how to handle the ball, space the floor, and, most importantly, she knew how to get the ball back to Caitlin. This is the kind of guard you keep, not cut.
She can shoot the ball a little bit. She shot 47% from 3 as a rookie, and last season shot 40%. On her career, she's a 44% three-point shooter. She's not selfish in any way.
Her shooting numbers alone should have locked her in. Berger shot 40% from 3 last season, and an even more impressive 47% from the field. She wasn't flashy, but she was efficient and reliable.
Like, she averaged in 14 minutes a game before Caitlin Clark got there for the Fever. She averaged 4.2 points, 1.6 rebounds, 1.9 assists per game. Like, again, in 14 minutes.
As a rookie, she averaged 4.2 points and 1.9 assists in just 14 minutes per game. Numbers that scale well for a backup. And she did it without dominating the ball or disrupting the flow.
And that's the thing where it's like, if you watch Grace Berger, she's a good mid-range shooter. I think she's just a much better version of a Lucy Olsen. That's basically what she is.
That's rare, especially in a league where ego and shot-taking often come first. Berger played the role of facilitator.
Honestly, throughout the season, I think Grace shot like 40%. She shot 40% from the 3. So she was a competent player.
She was someone who kept the offense organized and freed Caitlin up to play off the ball, making Clark even more dangerous.
The Fever have just let so many players that stylistically would be perfect for the Fever with Caitlin Clark over the last 3 years walk.
But instead of building around Caitlin, the Fever made a puzzling decision to remove one of the only players who fit her system. And this wasn't a one-time mistake. This is part of a pattern.
And that was the first reason why I'm like, I don't understand this front office. I'm like, I actually don't understand this front office.
The front office seems to be operating on its own agenda, making roster changes without considering how they affect the team's most valuable piece, Caitlin Clark.
She's not a starter. She's not going to be anything great, but she would have been a net positive for this team.
Grace Berger might not have been a star, but she was the right piece. And letting her go? That's a red flag for anyone who wants to see this team succeed.
They let her go, right? They let her go, and they picked up Jaylen Brown, man.
In the wake of Grace Berger's release, the Indiana Fever quickly filled her roster spot with Jaylen Brown.
Because I know some people don't know who Jaylen Brown is, but I'm about to show you. All right, this is her right here.
Not the NBA star, but a lesser-known WNBA player who spent time on the margins of the league.
This is a shooter that has ball handle and can get up and down that floor, fam.
On paper, Brown brings energy. She's a scorer, has a quick first step, and shows flashes of athleticism. Her highlights paint her as someone who can shoot off the dribble, create her own shot, and hustle in transition.
But the problem is that Stephanie White brought in players for her system.
But here's the problem. None of that necessarily makes her a better fit alongside Caitlin Clark.
Jaylen Brown didn't necessarily play a whole lot last year. She played 14 games and then had 10 minutes. Like, she averaged 10 minutes.
Brown played just 14 games last season and averaged 10 minutes per game.
She can get to it. This is another competent hooper. This is a good player to add to this already strong Indiana team.
She's got some range and can knock down open shots, but we're talking about a limited sample size with streaky performances.
This lady right here can hit, fam. Did 3 for 3 in this game. She was 0 for 2 in this game. 1 for 2, 1 for 2, 1 for 1, and then 0 for 1 in the start.
One night she's 3 for 3 from deep. The next she's 0 for 2. And while those hot moments look great in a highlight reel, they don't show the full picture.
She can get to it. This is another competent hooper.
Brown hasn't proven she can consistently execute in a structured offense, especially one that revolves around a generational playmaker like Caitlin Clark.
Stylistically, when Caitlin Clark's on the floor, she would allow you to play Caitlin off the ball. My whole thing was that I thought stylistically she's the perfect bench backup for Caitlin, because what we need from a backup for Caitlin is the ability to play the 2 when Caitlin's off the floor, the ability to play the 1.
What the Fever needed was a stabilizer, someone who could control pace, relieve pressure, and let Caitlin move without the ball. That was Berger. She wasn't just a shooter, she was a connector.
Bang it. Come on, man. This is what they just added, okay? I see a lot of people saying, oh, man, this is stupid. Why did you give up Grace? Look, this her right here. Good drive, good lay, athletic, got a good little speed on her, knockdown. Yeah, this is what you got. She's over here in the corner. Boom.
Brown, by contrast, is more of a shot taker than a shot creator for others. And that could become a problem, especially when Clark is at her most dangerous when paired with teammates who move the ball quickly and make smart reads.
The ball doesn't stick in her hands, and the manner in which she probes the D encourages her teammates to constantly move.
The switch from Berger to Brown might seem like a minor adjustment on the surface, but the implications are bigger than people realize. With Grace, you had someone who prioritized ball movement and understood spacing. With Brown, you're betting on individual scoring ability in a system that's supposed to flow through Caitlin.
Would Grace Berger probably be stinking it up in the Fever? Probably. But stylistically, when Caitlin Clark's on the floor, she would allow you to play Caitlin off the ball.
That shift could change everything about how the second unit operates, and it's not clear if it changes it for the better. And let's not ignore the psychological impact this might have. Clark is fiercely competitive. She knows the game. She studies tape. She sees who makes the extra pass, who understands the assignment, and who doesn't.
And stylistically, Grace Berger was just such a good fit. And that was the first reason why I'm like, I don't understand this front office. I'm like, I actually don't understand this front office.
Swapping out a team-first playmaker for a volume scorer, it sends a message. And it's not one that says, we're building around Caitlin. It says, we're still guessing. Jaylen Brown might end up being a decent pickup, but that's not the point.
You've got 3 elite players, and what you have to do with those 3 players is build around those 3 players. You've got to. There's no excuses. You have got to build around those 3 players. You have got to figure out how we can build around Kelsey, Aaliyah, and Caitlin.
The point is, in a league where chemistry and fit matter more than flash, the Fever just gave up a known, reliable piece for a question mark, and they did it while Caitlin Clark is trying to carry the weight of an entire franchise. That's not just a roster move, that's a warning sign.
She would be able to play off the ball and on the ball, and you can run a 2-point guard lineup where for an occasional possession, Grace is playing the 1 with Caitlin the 2.
This isn't just about one roster move, it's about a pattern. The Indiana Fever front office has now made a series of decisions that show a complete lack of vision when it comes to building around their franchise star.
Caitlin Clark is the face of a league. We love you, CC.
There's one person in this league that when she walks in the building, when she walks in the room, the owners see dollar signs. There's only one person, and her name's Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie anymore. She's the face of the team, the league's biggest draw, and a generational talent with the ability to transform the WNBA's popularity. And yet, instead of crafting a system around her strengths, the Fever continue to shuffle pieces that either don't fit or actively disrupt her growth.
The team got rid of Alana Smith a couple of years ago, who again is the perfect power forward center to play beside Leah Boston, because you get rid of the size and speed problem, because she's athletic enough to play the 4.
Grace Berger was just the latest casualty, but she's far from the only one. The team has also moved on from players like Alana Smith and Emily Engstler, neither of whom are household names, but both offered something essential: versatility, toughness, and system compatibility. Engstler, for example, was a strong, stretch forward who could defend multiple positions and hit open shots. Exactly the type of player who thrives next to a high-usage guard like Caitlin.
And it allows Aaliyah to offensively play the 4, and it allows Aaliyah to defensively at times maybe play the 5. And it means that Aaliyah doesn't get caught speed-wise. And look, Aaliyah's getting much faster, but you can't play Aaliyah Boston with a player who's slower than Aaliyah Boston.
Alana Smith brought floor spacing and agility to pair with Aaliyah Boston in the front court, but both were let go.
But the problem is that Stephanie White brought in players for her system. She brought in players for her system. She did not sign players. She did not bring in players that were going to fit what the Indiana Fever were doing last year. She did not bring in players that were going to fit what we had hoped for the Indiana Fever. She brought in players that would have fit on last year's Connecticut Sun team, and she didn't fit on that team.
Why? Because they didn't fit the coach's outdated system, not because they couldn't help the team win. This all points back to the same issue: poor roster construction and a failure to adapt.
You've got 3 quote-unquote stars. You've got 3 elite players. And what you have to do with those 3 players is build around those 3 players. You've got to. There's no excuses. You have got to build around those 3 players. You have got to figure out how we can build around Kelsey, Aaliyah, and Caitlin.
Instead of evaluating how players complement Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, the 2 pillars of this franchise, the team continues to sign or retain players based on a rigid, coach-first mindset. It's like they're still building around last season's needs, not this season's reality, and Caitlin is feeling that pressure. You don't have to hear her say it out loud to know it.
Come on, man. Look at the steal. Look at the hustle. All the way. Coast to coast. Crossover, step back. Hey. Hey, man. This her hustling at the top.
You can see it in the games when she's double-teamed with no outlet, when she's forced to do everything from scoring to playmaking to floor spacing. The support around her isn't just thin, it's mismatched. It's like giving a surgeon a toolbox meant for a plumber.
The team got rid of Alana Smith a couple of years ago, who again is the perfect power forward center to play beside Aaliyah Boston, because you get rid of the size and speed problem, because she's athletic enough to play the 4.
No matter how talented she is, Caitlin can't succeed at the highest level without the right tools around her. From a management perspective, this is unacceptable. The league is watching, the fans are watching, and most importantly, Caitlin Clark is watching. She didn't come to Indiana to be surrounded by question marks and Band-Aid signings. She came to compete, to lead, to elevate the game. But instead of surrounding her with a coherent system, the front office is scrambling, reacting instead of planning.
Going to if it means going overseas and trying to find one of those players, if it means bringing back a Grace Berger, just because even though Grace is not that great a player, as a stylistic fit, if it's a stylistic fit, if it means going, like, if you're looking for players that are playing specific positions that can fit a system, if you want to go that route, then you go if you want to play a motion offense, you could bring in players that know how to play a motion offense, aren't just learning the motion offense.
This is where successful franchises separate themselves. They don't just draft stars, they protect them, develop them, and build intelligently around them. Right now, the Fever are failing that test. And make no mistake, if this pattern continues, the damage won't just be on the scoreboard, it'll be in the locker room.
If you want to run this offense with Caitlin Clark, who's not that comfortable in it, you got to get players that are comfortable in it to run it without Caitlin Clark. You get like an Antonio Dallaire from from Belgium. You find these type of players, you start to look. You look at the Australian national team and...
In the morale, in the long-term commitment of a player who could define this team's future. If Indiana is serious about winning, the mindset needs to change, fast. Because Caitlin Clark won't wait forever, and she shouldn't have to.
Caitlin Clark has changed the game. She changed it in college and in the WNBA.
The country has fallen in love with what we have created. And America, here's the girl next door, all grown up, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has captivated the nation, breaking scoring records in college and bringing women's basketball to a whole new audience.
She is a phenomenon.
The Indiana Fever just made another move that leaves fans scratching their heads. And Caitlin Clark standing alone in the storm. Letting go of Grace Berger wasn't just a roster tweak. It was a signal that this team still doesn't fully understand what it takes to build around a star. And if the front office keeps making decisions that ignore chemistry, fit, and Caitlyn's strengths, the consequences won't be subtle. This league is changing fast. Either the Fever evolve with it, or risk wasting the best thing that's ever happened to their franchise.